Hello and welcome to episode 10 of Shrigleytube TV. I can't believe it's 10 weeks of dribble you guys have had to put up with, but thanks to you lot, you've all stuck with me, and we're getting a steady stream of people now that watch the video within a couple of 3 days, which is great. And I've actually made a list this week so I can get things in order. So what I was going to say was, I just returned from Harewood Hillclimb. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic day. I've got some in-car footage coming up in a bit. I want to say thanks to all the new subscribers, because I got like 50 new subscribers from the stock car video, which was very popular, so that was great. And I'm hoping to do some more stock car footage soon, because we've got Bradford coming up on the 23rd, which is this coming Saturday. So me and the kids are really excited about going there to watch that. That'll be an awesome night's entertainment. Right, so to start tonight's video off, we've got a bit of a dyno run, which is a Dutch engine which I've just done some work on. It was already built, I just done a bit of fettling, and it runs really nice. So I thought we'd start the video off with some dyno time. So I know some of you like to watch that. And then we've got a little bit on the XE progress there, just been cleaning the block and painting it and sorting the core plugs out, so done a little chat on that. And then we've got Bergerac, my neighbour at work, who's got the, I've got it wrong again, I know, what's it called? Is it TR7? No, what's it called? Lancia Stratos, that's it. So he's got a Lancia Stratos, and we're going to do a talk about that. Not the one you saw the other day, this one's a green one. It's a very nice one. So we'll do a little bit on that. And then we've got getting ready for Harewood. We've got a visit from Dan, who's on his holidays, and he was passing down the motorway, so we called him for a quick chat. So it was nice to see him. Let's do an interview on him. And then we go to getting the car ready and going to Harewood. So it was all really nice. Used a few too many RPM, but luckily you guys can't see the rev counter from where the camera was mounted in the car. This time I have actually managed to get the camera so you can see where I'm going. If you saw my previous videos, the camera was absolutely useless, so got that sorted out. And did some interviews of the chaps that were, I just asked them if he minded, you know. I actually had a bloke who came up to me, a lovely bloke called Alan, and he said, I'm a subscriber. I was dead excited, so I said, can I interview you? He said, yeah, sure. So he's got a little mini Chen, which was really cool, so I had a chat with him. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this week's content, and I will see you all next Sunday night. Cheers for now. Okay guys, we're going to start this video with a bit of a dyno session on this 1040, and I was going to talk about the sort of work I do. I do mainly fresh builds from nothing, but I do a lot of refreshes as well, and also self builds that haven't gone 100% correctly. So this engine belongs to a chap. He'd done a really good job of building it. He'd run it for some time, but he had some problems with the wheel springs, and they are a bit finicky. They're quite difficult to get right. You have to have the squish, the pinch on them absolutely perfect, and they have to sit in exactly the right place, or we have issues with coolant leaking into the cylinders and being pushed out of the header tank under load, you know, when the cylinders leak and put the charge into the coolant jacket. So I've just come to this and said, right, well, all I'll do is, because it's all new, it's done about 5,000 miles, I said I'll just go in and see what's happened and fix it. So all I've done is skin the block really and put some fresh bearings in it and stuff like that. The head was actually okay, that was fine. New set of wheel springs. I've come to run it. It's not my normal sort of setup, it's on a different emulsion tube, but I thought, he's been getting on with it, so I'll just see how it runs, and it runs really well. It's on a very small choke. But it isn't a road car, so the airspeed will help it, you know, down below. It's got an R20 cam, a really nice Carter head, and it's got quite a decent compression ratio. It's 23.4 cc's, 12.1 to 1, so it's quite good burn speed, and it does run very nice, so I won't waffle anymore. We'll give it a quick wind up, and then we'll move on to the next bit. Right, we're on with the R20 camshaft in the 1040, and the engine the chap had built. And got to say, throttle response is great with them small chokes in it. Don't know how it'll hang on, we'll see. I'll load it up here, we'll try and get a low end figure while the oil gets up to temperature. So it's holding about 783 at 5,000. Right, reasonable that'll be quite nice to drive, quite friendly. We'll keep loading the dyno up and try and get a lower end figure. I can tell by the way it just takes the throttle here, it'll be really friendly in the car this. So at 4,000 it's still holding about 65 foot-pound. The dyno will struggle to get it lower than that, so we'll give them a little rest and then we'll come back on. I'm just backing the dyno off now. The dyno is controlled by a 24 volt motor on top that turns the handle for me. Back in the day when this was made, this dyno, you were meant to stand alongside it. You might be able to just see the handle turning in the foreground, and basically the bloke could stand next to it turning the handle to adjust the torque rating or the torque load. Back to the grid now. 6,000, still only 73. Just take it to 8. But yeah, it held on quite nicely. I think he'll be really pleased with this. And you know what? I'm not even going to change the emulsion tubes in it because it seems to be working quite well. We'll have a look and decide later on. But that'll do. That served its purpose for now. You've had your little fix of engine on dyno, which seems to be quite popular on the channel. Right, good morning chaps. Following on from last week where we skimmed the block of the XC and we measured the bores and made sure that all the tolerances were okay before we went ahead with the build. Now, all I've done since then is I've wire wheeled the block, painted it, and given it a light bog brush or a glazed bust. I've not actually put the honer down it, so I've not took any size out of it. I've just deglazed it. Obviously the face has been done. And I just thought I'd do a little video on the core plugs. Now, it doesn't sound like a very exciting or important video, but it is really important, the core plugs. So we clear them all out to put new ones in. Got my new ones there. And what you do is you knock these in, and they're like a expansion fit. So it's very important when you knock them in that we push them in with this edge. Now, because they sit at the bottom of this taper here, see that little lead, we have to make a tool. Now, I used to have a tool when I worked at Bob's, but obviously I did a lot of these engines working with Bob, but obviously he kept the tool. So I've just knocked this up on a lathe, just an old socket. And now what will happen is I'll use this to knock the core plugs in. So we'll put some glue on the core plugs and then tap them in home. And then what we'll do is, because this engine is rear wheel drive, this is going a rear wheel drive car, it's really important that we put some little screws in. I'll do a video at the end, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill and tap at each side of the core plug, and these little screws will have a washer on, and what they'll do is they'll stop the core plug from ever being able to work its way out. Because what can happen is, say this guy's on a stage and he has an issue with the engine or the cooling system, say he's got electric water pump and it stops working, and all of a sudden it boils its water and the water jacket pressure builds up. He'll probably more than likely have a high pressure cap on it, I don't know, 15-20 psi. And what can happen is the core plug can blow out the side of the engine. Now, it doesn't sound that dramatic because all you get is a load of steam on the exhaust and, oh, something's gone wrong, and you pull over. But if you're doing 100 mile an hour down a back lane and suddenly you've got loads of antifreeze on your back tyres because it's all gushed out the front of the engine, you're in trouble. Like, you need to slow down quickly. So by putting these screws in, we stop the chances of the core plug being able to pop out, this is why I'm going about it, because it is so important. We cannot afford to have slippy substance on the back tyres. In a way, the rear engine cars aren't so important, because like with the Hillman, if something happens with a coolant pipe on the Hillman with the engine bin in the back, it's just everybody else that falls off on your water and oil, rather than yourself. But yeah, so we'll get this done and I'll do another video when I've done it. Right, that's the first side completed. Just the other side to do now, which is there's only 3 on that side, so a bit easier. Now hopefully you'll understand the theory now. If you just look, you'll see the washer that's been held by the M4 screw is overlapping the exit, so that the core plug can't physically push past that. So we know we're safe with that now. And the hardest part about doing this job is getting them all in line, because you can't get a straight edge in because there's this lug, to mark it all out. So I've got one that's just a little bit a little bit out. You can't really see it there, but I know it's out anyway. It's going to play havoc with my brain out, but we'll get over it. At least it's safe and it can't cause an issue, which is the most important thing. So we'll get the crank, and then we're just waiting for the bearings to arrive, and then we'll do a little bit on the builds, because these are a great engine, these XEs. They're such a well-designed engine that I'm not going to say they're idiot-proof, but you know, if you're going to rebuild an engine as a home DIYer, these are great engines to start with. I just bought myself a new race car for next year. Look at this lightweight Caledonian Imp. It was cheap as chips. I didn't even bid him. I didn't even go and see it. I just bought it because it was so cheap. It's an Imp, late one. It's a lightweight one. Obviously, it's more lightweight because it's got no sills on it and stuff. But it'll come good. It's good in the right places. Roof gutters are good. But what I wanted to talk about was Bergerac. This one's your TR7. Oh, not TR7.
My TR7, yeah.
Right. I just want to apologise.
Better than Fiat X1.
To the Lancia Stratos Owners Club. Apparently, there's death threats out for me because I referred to it as a TR7. That part of the intro on that video was pure wind up. I'm fully aware it's a Lancia Stratos. I just having a giggle with my mate Burge. Burge, talk about yours for 1 minute, as it did seem to get lots of hits. Your pal Norm with his.
It's not quite as nice as Norm's because it hasn't got the supercharged V6. This has just got an Alpha V6, but it's a bit more Italian though, isn't it? So, you know.
Well, yeah, it's all Italian, isn't it? Can we repeat? Is it hard to see the engine?
I can open
the colour does make it set off a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's obviously the best colour.
What colour is it? I mean, obviously it's like lime green or something.
It's the same colour as they painted things like the Lamborghini Miuras and that sort of stuff back in the day.
Very nice.
So,
Watch what you say the boss is around.
Who's boss?
Oh wow, you've been polishing your trumpets, haven't you? What do you mean?
That's a true classic.
It's a true classic, that, mate. True classic. Right, let's hear it, Burge. Come on, you've only got 10 more seconds. I've got a lot to get through this week.
What do you want to hear?
Just limit it, really. Oh, lovely. Let's have a look at the cockpit.
It's lovely, yeah.
That's gorgeous. Hey, I actually think this one sounds a little bit sort of like you bought a Chinese silencer and all the stuffings fell out of it. It looks quite expensive actually. Right, thank you very much for showing us around. Got to move on to Hillman Engines now. Thought I'd just add this onto the channel. It's a good customer of mine, Dan.
Hello.
Dan's got this lovely, very early Mark on him. Got the metal ends on the dashboard. I get really excited when I see these. It's a cracking car. He's just let me drive it around the block. He's just been on his holidays in it. And you've done some big trips, haven't you? We've
been all the way down to the south of France, right down the bottom.
Wow.
With a Mini following us behind.
Yeah, tell me what failed on the Mini?
The Mini water pump.
Well, that's ironic, isn't it?
Yeah. That blew up about halfway down. So we had to order one and get that replaced. The Imp was brilliant.
Oh, excellent.
The only problem we had was the power to the fuel pump popping off.
Oh, I'm sure you sorted that in no time. Dan's one of those like modern imp owners who does all his own maintenance, and he puts the engines in and takes them apart and does all sorts. I've had a bit of an involvement in it. I did the engine for him, and it's quite a nice one. It's a 1040, sorry, with an R17 cam, and yeah, it goes quite well. I quite like it. I was gonna give it a bit of a blast, but as he was sat in the passenger seat, I thought I'd better respect the fact, you know, he might not be too happy. I've got a feeling he looks after it. And it's got a lovely quiet exhaust. We're just looking at that, weren't we? It's really, you had that made especially, have you?
Yeah, I mean the actual silencer's an off-the-shelf power flow one, but
right.
I had to take it to a shop for them to fix it to the manifold and everything, and then to get it at the right angle to get it to fit. Otherwise, it'd be scraping along the floor. But the straight through was just a bit boomy.
And this angle stops the fumes from coming back in the car, does it?
It does, yeah. No fumes come in. It's
brilliant. Are you going to give us a little blap?
I'm gunning.
We always like the sound of an engine, don't we? Mint that. Brilliant. Right, well, safe journey home. Who's this over here?
Come on.
Who's this?
It's Buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Say hi, Buds. Come on.
Oh,
old
bless
man.
him. Old man.
Old man, 12 and a half.
12 and a half, bless. Brilliant. Well, safe onward journey. I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Cheers again.
Right, it's midday Friday and I've just clocked out. I finished the work I needed to get done for next week. So it's time to start playing with racing cars. So I booked a hill climb at Harewood for tomorrow, the 16th. And I'm going to try and put the camera in the car so you guys can see some in-car. Now, since I came up from Brands, I sort of fell out with the impact of the throttle cable snap. So it's sat here and I literally haven't touched it. So if I... I'll just get something to arc the starter over. We'll see if it makes a tune. Now I'm not able to start it from the front because it's got no throttle cable. Well, it's got some volts. That's a good start. So we'll see if I'll get a tune out of it. And I've got this afternoon to get it cleaned up and ready to go. That's my throttle cable there. You can see. Oh, where's it? That's where it broke at Brands on the second to last lap. What a nightmare. Right, we'll just give him some fuel. I don't want to do this one-handed. Try and start it. Needs a bit more fuel, doesn't it? Right, I can see this is going to be a two-handed affair, so I'll bounce the phone there whilst I pump it and give it some probably sulking me because I've abandoned it for so long. Right, well that horrific noise is just the input shaft on the gearbox. I'm not stressed about that. Well, it made a noise and it's got oil pressure still, so we should be able to get this prepped up now. I've got to fit the cable, sort the back panel out, re-weld the gear lever where our friend Colin very kindly fixed it for us at Brands, and then we can get it washed up, loaded in the trailer, and then we'll go to Harewood. And I'm taking Dougie with me, my youngest son, because I took Russell to the World Final weekend, so it's only fair that he gets to come and stay overnight in the ambulance, etc., as he loves all that. Right, I've been out for a test drive, fixed the throttle cable, fixed the gear linkage, had a look round it, all seems good, seems to go okay, so we're all ready for Harewood. Something alarming going on out here though. Excuse me mate, what are you doing?
Defrauding the government. I've classed myself as a painter and decorator.
A painter and decorator. I'm just a bit concerned because the last time the landlord invested some money in the site, all of our rents went up. Are you doing this as voluntary work?
Yes, it's all free.
All free.
Totally free on behalf of Nigel.
On behalf of Nigel, the landlord.
He said that the rent increase this year is worthy of the fixing.
Mate, I hope he fixes my roof. I'm sick of getting wet when it rains. I know.
They're down to the tenants.
Tell me, Dougie, what sort of times are you getting out of this car? Is it a fast car?
No.
No.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, we have to push you. I think the pedals are a little bit far away from me at this stage, aren't they? Oh, don't look so sad. On your marks, get set, go Dougie, go. That's it, one pedal at a time. Oh, you cracked it, mate. Right, we'll get you a helmet and a timing beam. I reckon you'll be away. Right, Glenn's just very kindly let us have a little nosy at his engine. It's a bit of a special engine, this. It's an Ian Carter Super Clubman 1200. Or I think it's about 1215. It's a 5 bearing one. Can you see where the extra oil feed is going to the block? That's the G15 going out with Finn in it. We're going to try and talk to him after his next run. But this is absolutely very special. This is one of the original 10 that we talk about, sandcast 5-bearing blocks. And this chap actually has a downdraft head to go on it as well, which will be fitting in the closed season. So yeah, watch this space. Right, it's first run up the hill. Glenn, who's my main competitor because he's my pal and that's what I came here to do, beat him. He's beating me by over half a second, so I've got to really tidy it up on this last run, try and beat him. The car's got the time in it, that's him in the red Davy in there, and I'm going to do everything I can to tidy this up. Father and son team here, Neil and Finn. Finn's on the 18, both driving the G15.
No, only 67.
Wow. Well, all I can say is that how's it feel letting your lad do that, and do you worry about him crashing it or anything? Or
No, he's the one that wants to worry about crashing, so he'll have to fix it.
well, I think he's been very sensible in it. Have you been faster than him today?
Oh, regularly.
Amazing that. Normally father son, son bins it every other time but then goes faster.
Yeah, he's spun it more than me today.
He's creeping up on it. Oh well, at least he's trying. So you've had a good weekend.
Very good, thank you.
Should we look at the car a little bit?
Yeah, okay.
It's okay poke inside inside here.
Yeah.
It's a proper smart, it's got a bit of history, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Lovely dashboard, nice cockpit. Andy Woolley raced it, didn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
Andy Woolley car.
And you built the engine.
Apparently so.
2019.
We found some etching on it, yeah. It says 2016 on there, but yeah, but
well,
I'll have to dig my invoices out and see who it was. I think it might have been Mike Henny's this, but I could be wrong.
Maybe he's maybe not used it for a while because he said he had about 4 hours on it in 2019, so it's not wrong.
Is it?
Yeah, it runs well, sweet.
Oh, 22, isn't it? Yeah.
Attention Paddock, that concludes today's meeting.
Let's let this go. How many RPM have you been using, Neil?
8,500.
8.5?
Yeah.
I think you said it went past the 9 before.
No, not me.
Brilliant. Right, thanks for the interview anyway. This is Alan. Alan's very kindly agreed to answer a few questions for us about his little. What car is it?
It's a Mini Gem.
A Mini Gem. Now, Alan is actually a subscriber of the channel. For his sins, he gets his popcorn out on a Sunday night, gets ready for it. So, Alan, what I know is, just out of interest, how much does it weigh?
About 550 kilograms.
Right. Is that without you?
That's without me, yeah.
And how many horsepower's it got?
It's got about 100, but it's never been dynoed. It's home tuned.
So it's got right good weight to power to weight, yeah. So you get some good times in this.
Yeah, I'm happy with the times I get. It's like I said to you before, I'm happy if I put it back on trailer after doing it because it's a fantastic vehicle.
I've absolutely loved it. I've not done a hill climb forever. Glenn persuaded me to come along. And was just absolutely. You get every time I got to the top of the hill, I was like alive, you know.
Yeah, it is. And it's got banter with everybody. Everybody helps each other now.
And no one's difficult. Everyone's dead easy. It's just, everything, nothing's a problem. Oh, can you sort this out? You
Even
know.
with scrutiny, if there's something that's a bit iffy, they don't stop you from racing. They help you out.
Yeah. They want you on the hill.
Yeah.
They don't want you loading up and going home with a sulk.
That's right.
Absolutely brilliant, mate. I've had a cracking day. If you want to get into motorsport, Hillclimb's the way forward, isn't it? It's how I started years ago, you know.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I'll just get a shot of the front of the car, and then I'll leave you in peace, let you load up and get yourself home for your tea.
Well, I'm staying here tonight because I'm here tomorrow.
Oh, you're oh, right. Oh, what?
Double trouble this weekend.
Yeah, well, it might rain tomorrow, eh?
Well, if it rains, it rains.
Hey, it'd be good for the mini engine cars. You've got the turning, haven't you?
The front wheel drive. Yeah. It's like anything. You drive to the conditions of the road.
Absolutely.
You don't go like an idiot, you know. There's some that just push to the limit and of course they come off, you know.
Yeah. Don't look at me. No. Yeah, no, I know what you mean, mate. Do you know that last run? I just done my best run at the end there, and I thought if I calm down, stop overdriving the car, going in too fast, and just try and come out a bit more steady, and I did my best time and beat Glenn, so I'm buzzing, but I didn't want to upset him, you know. Right, thanks very much for your time, Alan.
Anytime.
See you Sunday night if I'm coming. Cheers. Right, chaps, I thought I'd just make a video straight after coming off the track. I've got to say, absolutely awesome, mate. If you're looking for cheap adrenaline, that's the way forward. Hill climbing. Thanks to everyone at Harewood. That's a fantastic hill. I really enjoyed the whole day. 5 runs, 5 blasts of adrenaline. I'm knackered now. Ready for the wife to instruct me all day tomorrow. Shops and everything. I'll be able to cope, no problem. See you next week.